Wario. Lordy thick. Inspired by recent events, I thought it was time to revisit Wario Land 4. You know, just get back to the basics, explore our shared cultural roots. So, why am I starting on the 4th game? Well, I might as well because there's no consistency to how Nintendo names anything in the US. Wario Land 4 is the first Wario game for Game Boy Advance and the 4th game in the Wario Land series. However, that series itself actually starts in the 3rd game of another series, Super Mario Land, the flagship Mario series for the original Game Boy. Now, Land is different from World. You see, Land equals Game Boy, World equals other stuff. And listen, between you and me, if Super Mario Land was the first game you'd ever played, you'd be thinking, damn, is this the best games have to offer? Video games suck. And then maybe you would have picked up a book or something and you wouldn't have ended up here. Anyway, after Super Mario Land 1 and 2 come out, the series just decides that 3 is a Wario game now. Then, when the sequel to that game comes out, it has the audacity to call itself Wario Land 2 like you wouldn't notice. And then it just continues that naming scheme until we arrive here. The Wario games have never been afraid of taking risks and shaking up the status quo, and 4 is no different. I don't have the time to go into the peculiarities of the previous titles here, but 4 takes some of the stuff it likes from previous games and adds some twists. Gameplay works like this. There's an overworld hub of sorts, although progression isn't quite linear. You have 4 different tracks of levels, with 4 levels in each of those tracks. The levels must be completed in order, but you can choose freely at any time to visit any of the 4 tracks. Then, you'll jump into one of the levels via a painting. Where have I seen that before? Once you're in, you've got a few objectives. You have to find these pieces. Each level has 4, and you'll have to find all of them in all 4 of the levels to open the boss door at the end. You also have to find this little key dude who you need to grab in order to open the door to the next stage. There's also records in each level that let you play music in the overworld, which I'll talk about later. Of course, you gotta grab all the treasure, and finally, you're looking for the Froggy Bomb switch. These are typically found at the end of the level. Once you step on it, a timer will start and you gotta run the level in reverse to escape with your junk. If you fail, you gotta do it all again. The interesting thing here is that you can go into a level, find absolutely nothing but the switch, and escape. The game doesn't actually force you to pick up any of the treasure or the key bird. Sadly, unlike the previous game, Wario is no longer invincible. He's got some hearts in the top left that show how much life force he has left for that particular run. If you lose it, he gets kicked out of the world back to the pyramid. Oh shoot, let me back this up and explain the story so you know what the pyramid is. Alright, so there's a forbidden and ancient alchemical process of splitting one's very soul into pieces. It was believed by the philosophers of old that by eschewing the negative aspects of humanity and purging oneself of these obstacles, a person could attain a more pure state of being, unburdened by the limitations of humanity. As these portions of life essence were isolated and removed, a sickening kind of half-life, a cursed immortality was possible. As long as these portions of life essence continued to exist, the original sorcerer could not truly perish. And so it is revealed that Wario himself is one of these aspects of an ancient lich. Wario is an avatar of avarice, the embodiment of pure human greed, refined in given form. Wario... I can't do this segment anymore, it's too stupid. The real story is a mysterious pyramid appears and Wario is like, Mamma mia! I'm gonna loot that thing and get rich quick. And this cat follows him and ends up being pretty important to the story. Okay, I think this is a good place to point out that, perhaps due to the variety of games Wario has been in, his actual character changes a lot. Initially, he was a straight-up foil to Mario, but he was then shifted into sort of an anti-hero character driven by his desire for money. Eventually, he gets very slapstick and lowbrow humor, but in this game he's still played as a tough guy that's just in it for the cash. Someday I might make a whole video about the different roles Wario has played, because I think it's kinda interesting how Nintendo has evolved the character, but for now I'll leave it at that. Back to gameplay. So, Wario's not invincible, but he's still pretty tanky. He's a big guy and beefier than Mario. Because of his large size, he's got a more aggressive style. He charges into people, butt slams harder, and you can also hold R to do a dash that will smash through enemies and some terrain. In this game, Wario is canonically a meathead. He'll lift weights when you walk into a boss room when they're doing their big intro cinematic because he's just not that impressed. Look at this dude, standing overhead pressing 315 for reps easy? This would actually snap my spine in half. Wario can also take a hit. Sometimes enemies and elements of the environment, instead of doing damage to him, will just put him in a different form. These forms have unique aspects to how they can traverse terrain and move through levels. There's a lot of them, so they keep it fresh with how you're moving around. Speaking of levels, what kind of stuff do we have going on? Well, we got... Tutorial level, relaxing beach level, wildflower fields, annoying lake level, jungle, spooky Victorian town, Arabian Nights, lava level that doubles as bonus ice level, spooky hotel, toy block world, Wario Party, sketch notebook world, domino world. No, not you. I'll get to you another day. Factory, garbage town, refrigerator, pinball wizard, and then a final level that is entirely the escape phase. That's one last mad dash through the pyramid itself. So what do we have in terms of bosses? Well, there's 6 of them, and they're pretty good looking, and that's just about all I can say. They're really easy, and what's more is you can make them even easier. Before every boss, there's this guy. At first I thought he was Mr. Game & Watch, but it's revealed at the end it was actually the cat? Anyway, whatever this thing is, it'll sell you power-ups that will do damage to the boss. They're kind of fun to watch. So, how do you buy them? Oh, not with money, that would be too easy. Instead, it runs a little arcade where you play minigames. Oh, minigames. You know, that gives me an idea for like 100 other games. Anyway, these minigames will give you medals, which you exchange for boss weapons. There's a baseball game that sucks and I hate it. There's a weird roulette game that's weird and it's weird. And then there's this game where you hop over stuff as it goes faster and faster. So you can see here... Oh no. No, this cactus has me acting unwise. Okay, I've got one shot at this. Alright, honesty time. Did you just click on this because of the cactus? You did, didn't you? You dirty degenerate. You know, there's a word for people like you. It's dendrophile. Oh, you don't like that? Okay, well, I guess you gotta watch the rest of the video to pretend that wasn't why you clicked. Yeah, I mean, you just love old Wario games. You know, it'll be between you and me. How about that? Let's talk visuals. It looks pretty darn good. I barely remember what GameBoy Advance is capable of, but playing this now in the modern era, I was genuinely impressed. It has a strong visual style that holds up well. Look at this stylish intro. There's a lot of variety and creativity in levels as well. Also, look how when you're escaping it gets all wavy. I think that's a neat trick, and if I'm guessing, this was probably new tech unseen before the GBA. So, you know those records you can pick up? Let's take a listen. Check out this hook while the DJ revolves it. Oh, you don't like that? Okay, rude, but I'll put on another one for you. What, now you're telling me you don't like Mr. Fly? Are you some sort of musical pleb? Okay, one more. Yeah, it's just a guy doing errands. What about it? Do you not get it? You understand the metaphor, right? Okay, if I'm being real, these little records aren't necessarily representative of the game, but also... And I don't want to take heat from Nintendo fans here, but the music is not great. Actually, it's mostly kind of bad. It ranges from mediocre to borderline experimental. Here, take a listen. Okay, so one thing I will say about the music is that it's dynamic. In fact, this is the first game I can remember ever having dynamic music. It can speed up, slow down, or even have weird filters applied when you're in one of Wario's alternate forms. The music has to be commended for at least that fact. Now I'd like to talk about something else entirely: the creativity of this game. I'm not sure how much this factors into modern game discussion, but I think it's very much worth mentioning here. This game has 18 levels and 6 bosses, and that's not a whole lot. So the bosses are kinda all whatever, but the levels themselves all have something unique to them. They either have forms for Wario to take that mixes up how he moves, or they might have some twist like there's a weird ghost that steals your key, or they might have a specific game mechanic unique to that level, such as the board game level, the pinball level, or the domino race level. I think this is really neat, and the devs should be commended for this. You can tell a lot of love went into this game. So the game ends after you beat this weirdo final boss, and then the pyramid self-destructs. Classic. After you get out, the cat and Wario share a laugh, and then the cat transforms into a space princess? She gives Wario a little peck on the cheek.
Wario is scared of women.
Yeah, you and me both, buddy. And then she disappears into space heaven while little angels surround her? I don't know. Anyway, then Wario drives back to town and reminisces about the adventure he just had, but ultimately just goes out for all-you-can-eat steak because this was just a Tuesday for Wario. And look who shows up in the credits! Charles Martinet. I never put together that he voiced Wario as well. Alright, let's talk about the elephant in the room. Yeah, I replayed this game because of Pizza Tower. I struggled to avoid mentioning it before now, but it's obvious, right? Since Pizza Tower is a Wario-like, I thought it appropriate to go back and examine the original. And let me say, there was a fair bit of nostalgia involved. I guess I was playing Wario 4 right after I slid out of the birthing pots of the monastery, so in my mind this game was amazing, as games can only be when you're young. However, after playing Pizza Tower, it was a little hard to go back. Pizza Tower is the superior game in just about every aspect. Now, don't get me wrong, I still love this game, but it controls so sluggishly compared to Pizza Tower. And don't even get me started on the music. I'm still jamming out to the Pizza Tower OST like 3 weeks later. All in all, I guess Wario had to run before Peppino could sprint it near Mach 1. Look, overall this game is really charming, but it's also incredibly easy and short. It has an important place in history, so if you want to go back and replay it, go ahead. It only takes a couple of hours. The end is nigh, memento mori, so have fun out there. Doom Prophet signing out.